Hi. Welcome to the Human Design for Marketing podcast. I'm your host, Yvette Mayer, and this show's for you if you're done with cookie cutter marketing and ready to build your personal brand in alignment with who you really are. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Human Design for Marketing podcast and our special series on 12 lessons from 2024. We are moving into the 8th episode in this series, so lesson 8, which looks back at August 2024. Now, I started my August in the most salubrious of fashions. I was in India on retreat with my amazing private client, Tricia. And actually, by the time the beginning of August rolled around, I was in Rishikesh on actually having participated in a yoga retreat, which was truly beautiful. You know, this was the second time I've traveled to India, and it was by far the best. And I want to tell you why. Being with Tricia, who is obsessed with Indian food, created more of an appetite for experimenting with Indian food, and I fell in love with it. Like, I really got into the food, and it just added a whole nother dynamic. It added another dynamic to my trip. And then the yoga retreat that we went on was so beautiful. Oh my God, we met the most beautiful people, like the hosts. It was incredibly good value. Moving your body in every way like that every day, and in the spirituality of the place that we were in, it was truly magic. Now, another thing that happened when we were in India, which I talked about in the last episode, was I'd set a goal of making $2,000 whilst we were on this trip, and I was largely offline again. And I'm really excited to share that happened. Funnily, it happened almost to the dollar. It was like $2,100, which makes you kind of question, if I'd set a $5,000 goal, would that have happened too? Or did I just know my audience well enough to be so bang on? I'm not sure. I'll never know. But I will say this, far out, it felt magical to have achieved this 10 buy goal. I shared earlier in June, when my dad passed and I was offline for a few weeks, that we brought in a couple of $100 from a passive product. And then coming back, I'd realized that I really wanted more of this in my business and my business model. So I set this goal to 10 times it when I went offline for another 2 weeks in July, August. And it was so fun, actually. Like every day, every single day, I'd get an alert to say something had sold. And I'd just look at Tricia and go, hello, here it is. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. So I do recommend you having a think about what you can sell low ticket that is more of that create it once, sell it multiple times. We call it a passive product, but it's not actually passive. You have to do a lot of work to get it set up in the first place, but you do a lot of the heavy lifting, a lot of the work up front, and then you get to sell it over and over and over again. And that's when it starts to feel really easeful. So that was an amazing, amazing start to August. Another thing that was happening around that time is I was loosening the reins on my tight achievement, business at all costs, like everything has to work. I was really I'd been through so much with losing my dad, and in this place of knowing that I had to change the business model so I could feel more excited and aligned and lit up by the way I ran the business. And so, August was this month of it's going to work, but we're still in the in-between phase. I was in the back end working on the new way of selling the frequency project, which was going to mean lower price point, less live time with me, no live launching, different ways of selling. And there was some resistance still going on. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, because I was used to having these huge launches, less so in June, but I was used to having these huge launches, which would drive a lot of the spikes of revenue in my business, and having bigger groups and holding space at that level. And I also was kind of attached to, I need to be there. I need to be there for my students to get the transformation. But I had to sit with that discomfort and rebuild this program, which is life-changing. And I know it's like part of my most transformational body of work and a signature program that is going to continue to be a big part of my business for the long term. But I had to reset it to scale it more effectively with a new sales strategy. And that meant I had to exercise a lot of self-faith in this process, trust in the process, know that the spikes in my revenue were not going to be the same, that it was about more consistent, lower stress build, but that I needed to have patience for that to start working. So thankfully, I was working with a coach who is all about nervous system regulation, who was holding me through this. I needed to be held through this because my revenue was down over this time. There was a couple of months where my revenue was around $8,000 to $10,000, which is low when I have averaged $20,000 months for a lot of months in my business over the years. And so it was just focusing on the fact that the things that I wanted to work were working, that I was putting the systems, the structure, the team, like all the work that I've done to build this foundation was coming together, but I was going to need to be patient and be okay. Just be okay with, I'm making enough money. It's okay. It's all good. And it's going to be better long term because I'm yet again slowing down to speed up. So that was what was going on in the business. And August was a very business focused month. The other thing that was going on in August is with my slight detachment from holding the reins so tightly in my business and getting fitter and losing some weight, I started to really lean back into my love of fashion and do something crazy, which was actually share that in my marketing just for a bit of fun and lightness. And that's been a really cool thing to do because it's not part of my aligned human design for marketing brand, but it is because what lights me up, what puts me into that lit up energy makes me more magnetic. And therefore, it actually has been something that I know you, if you're following me on Instagram and you do look at my stories, you're likely engaged with because I get so many people participating. I do what I wore to work from home this week, most weeks, and it's a poll and I get like 50 plus people voting in the poll and I really enjoy it. And it would appear that my audience are finding that a lot of fun as well. That it's authentic and it's coming from a really natural place in me. And so invitation to you, like what could you bring into your marketing because it's not that it's important, but it's a creative expression of you that maybe you've thought, well, that's not really relevant to my audience, because trust me, when you're expressing yourself from a really authentic place, in the mix of what is largely a business account, like mine is, bringing parts of you and your humanness into it is a very good thing. It might just be 10% of what you share, but it does help people know you better and connect with you. And so August was a month when I started to express myself more so through this lens of fashion. And to this day, I have loved it. Now, will I always do that? Probably not. Probably not. I'm going to be honest. It'll be interesting to see. Especially now, I'm actually recording a lot of these episodes having left the country. I'm in Bali right now. And so I'm not working from home and I'm all over the place. It's actually raining. It's rainy season here. So not all that into like making my outfits beautiful every day. Although, do you like this top if you're watching this on YouTube? It's actually a sarong. So yeah, that was August. Biggest lesson is that for big change, you may require to slow down, and that's going to take some patience and self-trust. That was my biggest lesson for August. Hope you're loving this series as much as I am enjoying going deep and personal with you and revealing what you don't see on social media. Let me know, jump into my Instagram and say hi. Don't forget to continue to reflect on your year and the big lessons and takeaways for you, because I know that when you do that, it's going to help set you up for a bigger and better 2025. I'll be back soon.
There are heaps more resources in the show notes. I can't wait to be back in your ears again soon. Bye for now.